Hello everyone, today I will show you a killer concept that I made from the two movies A Quiet Place 1 and 2. If you don't know what A Quiet Place 1 and 2 is, in A Quiet Place it's a story where the earth has been invaded by monsters and there's an apocalypse going on. These are like big black dog bat shaped like monsters which can hear everything. They have hypersensitive hearing, but they are extremely blind. They have little claws, so they can claw up their prey, and they try to just kill anything that makes any noise at all. So if there's a human, they'll just kill it, but they won't eat it. That's important for later. Just quickly, the killer that I took from this is obviously the Death Angels. They're called Death Angels, as you can see a picture from here. And they have these 3 finger claws, which are their weapon, as I will explain shortly. So now let's go over his power, his teachable perks, and his add-ons. So I hope you have fun and enjoy. Their weapon is the 3 finger claws, which are the 3 claws that they have as their fingers, which you can see in the movie and in pictures as well. And they use these to catch their prey. Now, their power is the most interesting thing. It's called the hearing mode, and you press and hold the power button in order to use hearing mode, which transitions you into hypersensitive hearing, which I can explain in a bit. While you're in hearing mode, you have 20% haste for the amount or the time that it is used. It opens up your full vision and activates hypersensitive hearing. There is a 0.35 seconds cooldown between transitioning from your normal state to your hearing mode or hypersensitive hearing. There are 2 states to this character. We have the special state of the normal state. This is what you start as in the round, and in this mode, the vision of the killer is reduced to 8 meters, kind of like in Dredge's Nightfall as a survivor, but so that it's reduced to 8 meters and you can only see that. And in addition to that, the killer has a special effect which most people actually don't know of. It's called the hearing effect. So, for example, whenever you get flash grenade or flash saved, like with a flash grenade, or you kick a generator which has been blessed mined, then what starts to happen is that you have this hearing effect. So for a couple seconds, your hearing is suppressed, and this is what happens with the normal state. This will be the normal thing that the killer will be in, and his hearing during this time will be strongly suppressed. So in order to actually hear anything, he'd have to be sitting like right next to a survivor who is injured in order to be hearing stuff. The other special state that he has is the hypersensitive hearing, which you can activate by using your hearing mode. While activating hypersensitive hearing, all noises on the map can be heard and get louder depending on the distance between the Death Angel and the noise. So for example, if there's a generator 80 meters away, you will really quietly hear it, but still be able to hear it. But if there's a survivor next to you that's injured and that's grunting, that's going to be really loud. Noise inside an 8 meter radius get tracked by red footprints visible for the killer constantly, so also through walls. So this means that while in chase, you can see where the survivor is going by their footprints. And with generators and items dropping and flash grenades dropping, that's the same thing. You can just see like a red little point on the floor. Only if the noise leaves the 8 meter radius, it will not be tracked anymore. In this state, the killer can also see the normal vision and not the block vision, which means that instead of having the usual nightfall vision that the dredge gives you, you now have the normal vision. You can see everything just as normal. Now this also comes with a weakness, and this weakness is pretty bad because if the killer is using hypersensitive hearing and is getting stunned by any means, the stun duration will be extended by 2 seconds. That's not the only thing. While using hypersensitive hearing, a hearing meter fills up. If the hearing meter is full, the killer gets put out of hypersensitive hearing and is stunned for 5 seconds. And no, the extension from the 2 seconds will not activate with this stun. So you're just stunned as if you have fatigue from a nurse or something. The hearing meter will fill up with a normal start of 1 charge per second, but 1 charge per second, and it has 100 charges. But any noise being heard while in hearing mode will be added onto that charge. So if every single generator is running and you're in the middle of the map, your hearing meter is gonna go up pretty quickly. The amount of charge being added on is once again relative to the distance that you have to the noise and how much noise that thing is creating. Now his 3 teachable perks are the pin drop silence, and turn that off. Pin drop silence will increase any noise created by grunts for 50%, 75%, and 100%. And after injuring a survivor, any injured survivor suffers from the oblivious and hearing effect for 10, 15, and 20 seconds. Once again, the hearing effect will now suppress the noise that you can hear. So you will not hear your heart pump as much or as loud. You will not hear your breathing as best, and you can't really hear the killer coming towards you. The perk Psst says, while healing a survivor, both the healer and the healed will suffer from the exposed and oblivious effect. This effect lingers for 2, 3, and 4 seconds after ending the healing process. This is pretty good if you combine this with Nurse's calling, so that if you see somebody getting healed or healing themselves, they will be exposed and have oblivious for 4 seconds. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, and if you in that time use your hypersensitive hearing without creating too much noise, then you can catch up to them really easily and hit them like perfect. The last perk is Turn That Off. Every time a generator is completed, gain 1 token for a maximum of up to 4 tokens. Every time you kick a generator, you use 1 token. This generator is now blocked for 10, 15, 20 seconds and starts regressing at 150% speed. This is pretty good so that the more tokens you stack up, or the more the survivors get into the game, the more it starts getting to the end game, you have every single time that a generator is completed, you have a chance at evening that out, kind of like Deadlock, but in a better way, because now when you kick it, you can choose which gen it is, and you can kick that gen, and it's now blocked for 20 seconds at that point and starts regressing at 150% speed. So if it's like I don't know the numbers right now, but if it's at 99% and it's regressing at 150% speed while being blocked for 20 seconds, this allows you to go away and know that you've at least done some damage. And also during this time, the generator that you kicked will be shown in a white aura. Now we get to the add-ons. There are obviously brown, yellow, green, purple, and iridescent ones, and we will start with the brown ones and work our way through. The first one reduces the cooldown between transitioning by 0.1 second. The second one is when in hearing mode gives you plus 1% haste, so now you're 20% haste or 21% haste. The third one is decreases the amount of noise created by 10% relatively, so the amount of charge that's given to you per second has been decreased by 10%, once again relatively to the amount of distance that you have between you and the noise. And the fourth one is you start in hearing mode, and any survivor that is downed 1 second after transitioning grants you plus 200 blood points in the transitioning score events. So now for the yellow add-ons. The first one reduces the cooldown between transitioning by 0.15 seconds, so combining that with the brown, that makes it a 0.1 cooldown between transitioning. The second one is when in hearing mode gives you plus 2% haste, so now you're at 22% haste instead of 20% haste. The fourth one is decreases the amount of noise created by 50% relatively, same as the brown one, but just by 5% more. The fourth one is the first time using hearing mode will last for 10 seconds and not gain any noise, but if you wait out those 10 seconds, you will get stunned at the end. And the fifth one, which is a new one, increases your normal mode vision by 4 meters. So instead of normal mode vision being 8 meters, it's now 12 meters. The next ones are the green ones, where the first one makes it so that transition hits causes oblivious for 60 seconds. The second one is the same thing, but for blindness for 60 seconds. And the third one is the same thing, where transition hits cause 3% hindered for 5 seconds, so you can catch up to the survivor easier. The fourth one is transition hits cause hemorrhage and mangled for 45 seconds, so kind of like Stop the Butcher, but here the downside is that it's like half the duration. The fifth one is it increases your normal mode vision by 6 meters, so instead of 8 meters, it is now at 14 meters. Now, the purple add-ons are the following. The first one decreases your hearing mode stun by 2 seconds, so instead of it being 5 seconds, it's now 3 seconds. And it also takes away the extended duration when being stunned inside your hearing mode. The second one is transition hits cause 5% hinder for 10 seconds, so it's a better version of the green one, which makes it so that you can catch up to survivors really easily after you've hit them. The third one is transitioning grants undetectable status effect for 7 seconds. And the fourth one is increases your normal mode vision by 8 meters. So now it has respectively doubled your vision when you're in normal mode, so you can see easier. The two iridescent add-ons are pretty interesting. So the first one, it switches your normal mode vision with your hearing mode vision. So while you're in hearing mode, you can see everything, but while you're in normal mode, you can only see the amount that you have when you would be in hearing mode. This also will change your normal mode vision in relative to your other add-ons if you use the add-ons that increase your normal mode vision by 8 meters. So now your hearing mode vision, which is now your normal mode vision, can now even be increased with those add-ons as well, if that made sense. With the same add-on, your hearing mode activation grants any survivors within the vision radius 20% hindered for 5 seconds, so kind of like a clown bottle. And any survivor inside the vision radius has their aura revealed. This effect will linger for 2 seconds. The other iridescent add-on is when in hearing mode, the auras of all survivors are shown, and any action speed from any survivor is reduced by 50% speed. That means vaulting, that means repairing, that means throwing down a pallet, that means vaulting a pallet, and so on and so forth. And all sufferers suffer from the oblivious effect. So now you can, while you're in hearing mode, you are really stealthy, and they can't really run away from you. For his trivia, he is a 96.25% movement speed killer, so same as the nurse, he's really slow, but when in hearing mode he has 20% haste, which is pretty fast, so you can catch up to survivors pretty easily. His normal transitioning cooldown has a cooldown of 0.35 seconds, and while you are in hearing mode, you have your 96.25% speed plus your 20% haste, and your transitioning keeps the same speed as normal. The maximum amount that a hearing mode can go on is 100 seconds, since it's 1 charge per second. So if there's no voice going on and no noise going on, so nobody's vaulting, nobody's repairing a generator, nobody is running around, everybody's just sitting still, this can go on for 100 seconds. Now for the map, there's multiple options actually. We have the farm from the first movie, A Quiet Place 1, or A Quiet Place in this case, which would be very good. It has like a slight outside area. It's kind of like Coldman Farm, but you could have multiple variations of this. You could also choose the stores that are in like the little lost towns that are in A Quiet Place, but there's many options for the maps. But I think for this one, we could just go with the farm because it's the easiest one. It's really simple to use. Alright, thank you guys so much for listening to the end. If you have any suggestions on how you could change this killer and anything that you would like to add on, put them right down in the comments. And I would just also like to notify everyone that all these numbers are just kind of guesses or estimates. They might be too OP or they might be too weak. That's all just for estimates because I am not a DBD betting team. I am just simply here to show you this concept. It's just, a fun idea that could be made into something. And of course, now that we're at the end of the video, thank you guys so much for watching once again, and have a nice day and subscribe.